some cats will stab you for calling them a snitch. And you have to know the difference between a dude that snitched and a cruddy dude. So say for instance, I got caught and a number of people got away. And so the government had come to me and asked me who was with me. And if I cooperate with them, they would give me a sentence reduction. And so you would tell them about people that had got away. You know what I mean? That's what's termed snitching. But a cruddy dude, to him, whatever he do is cruddy. So he don't care about nobody. He'll rob his brother. He'll rob his best friend. You know, he'll do things to people that he know. He just don't care about nothing. So to him, he don't care about nothing. He don't care about nothing and nobody. So he do what he want to do. And so the difference between the dude that snitched and the cruddy dude, even some of the guys that snitch, some of them guys will stab you. You ride here in their business talking about they did this and they did that and they told on this and who, and a lot of them dudes ain't no punks now. I done seen a lot of them dudes, man, people be whispering and talk about what they done did and this and that, and they come back with that knife play. You know. So in the prison, at least back in the times when I first came in, you had to bring your paperwork. Them dudes be like, where your paperwork at? And so your paperwork is your PSI. It's your pre-sentence investigation report. And it tells you your crime. It tells you everything about your case. It tells you about your prior convictions. And then if they have on there that you have 5K1, 5K1 means that you cooperated with the government. So normally when people come in prison, especially the prisons that's more so out of town, so places like California and Texas where you don't have a whole lot of Miami guys present, you know, they have what you call, you got to show your paperwork. Because if your paperwork not right, they have what they call, they'll run you up top. Meaning they tell you that you got to get off the compound. You can't be on that compound. As opposed to cruddy dudes. Man, a lot of them cruddy dudes, man, they, you know, when they hear about you in their business, talk about they did this or did that, you know, some of them stab people. And then you got some people that have 5K1 and have cooperated with the government, but a lot of them dudes ain't no punks. And a lot of them dudes, they not showing no paperwork. They ready for knife play, you know. And so you have to figure, like, you know, who is the guy that's in the prison that's talking about dudes that's hot? So when they say that you're hot, that means that you cooperated with the government, so they call you hot, right? And so you have some people that's in prison that haven't cooperated on nobody, but they call them prison hot, meaning that, you know, when things go on in the prison, you know, they may tell some of the COs or the counselors or things of that nature, right? And then you have some guys that been in prison for a long time. Say they may have been in prison for 20 years. And say they might have a particular job where on the job, the supervisors on the job have favor with them. And then they get certain things that they could do, maybe certain ways they can make money or this and that. So people call them prison hot. So I remember one day we was working on a job detail, and there was this guy in prison. He was out of Boston. And so he had a lot of life sentences, but he had federal time, and then he had a death penalty in the state joint. But he was in the federal system probably at that time, probably about 10, 15 years. And so guys kept talking about he was hard, he prison hard, he tell everything and this and that. And so this one particular person, he was real vocal about this guy being hard. He would say it loud, and he would say it in the guy's face, you know, and spreading the rumor and the word that the guy was hard. And so one day on the detail, we was about maybe 4 or 5 of us, we was in the elevator. And we was going upstairs. And so the guy that was talking all the time about this other guy being hot, he was on the elevator, and the guy that he was talking about all the time was on the elevator too. And man, the guy that he said was hot, he pulled out a big knife. And he drawed it on the guy on the elevator. So the guy put his hands up. And so the guy from Boston was telling this dude, he said, hey man, let me tell you something, man. He said, man, I do what I got to do, man, in order for me to stay in federal prison, man. He said, because when I go to Boston, to the state joint, I got the death penalty, man. So, man, leave me the fuck alone, man. If I kill you up in here, man, I don't be in your business, man. Stay out of my business. And so, man, I was like, you know, I backed up against the wall because I had never seen nothing like that before. You know what I mean? And so, you know, a joker gotta, you know, unless you are a guy that's championing, that you spearheading, running people up top or exposing people for being a rat or hot. You know, if you that type of guy, then that's on you. But not only that, if you say that a person is a rat and he's not a rat, it's consequences to that. And then when you talk about a guy being a snitch, and then if he is a snitch, you know, what are you going to do about it? That's the thing. What are you going to do about it? Or is somebody going to do something to you about it? So, you know, my thing is, you know, I'm not a snitch. I'm not a rat. My brother's not a rat. You know what I mean? But people have their own circumstances, man. You know, some people, you know, they not going to allow the government to go lock their parents up and lock their baby mama up and lock their sisters up and lock their brothers up. So some of them get backed against the wall, and then they don't do it for themselves. You know, they do it to free people that they love. So you never know what a person's circumstance is. And then you have people that's in prison that have a life sentence. You know, I never had a life sentence. So I don't know what it feels like to have a life sentence. I don't know what it feels like to have your release date saying deceased on your PSI or in your paperwork. So I haven't had that decision. You know, I don't know what I would do if I had a life sentence in prison. I don't know if I would rat to get out or tell to get out. I don't know what I'd do because I was never faced with that situation. You know, a lot of people listen to that Ice Cube song say they'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. You know, some people might say, man, I'd rather take my chances on the street than to die in prison. So you never know a man's circumstances, but you got to be careful who you call a snitch. I remember me and my brother, we was in USP Atlanta. And so it was a guy that was running around saying that my brother was a snitch. And so a couple of guys came back and told my brother. So the guy said, a guy came to my brother, he said, man, there's a dude on the compound, say you snitching. So my brother like, where the dude at? So the dude, the messenger, the dude that brought the message, He like, hey man, I don't want to get into that. And so my brother say, well man, I'm gonna stab you then. Because you the one brought me the message. You shouldn't have never brought the message to me. So if you don't want to tell me who it is, man, then I'm finna strap down and come at you. Right? And so the guy ultimately took me and my brother to the guy that said my brother was a snitch. And so my brother and I, we both know that we solid through and through, right? But my brother, he was so hard. So when the messenger showed my brother the guy, my brother ran on him with that knife. Say, hey, bro, you know me? He like, nah. He said, my name's Sweet. He said, man, you riding here talking about I'm snitching on somebody, dog? He like, nah, I thought you was the other Sweet. He said, nah, I ain't the other Sweet, nigga. Man, keep my name out your mouth. And my brother was ready to put that work in it, on him. You know, so you got to be careful who you calling a snitch.